And we're back for part number 2. As you can see, I've added quite a few lines, and there's going to be a hole on the end of the tail, and there's going to be a hole right here, starting with the mouth. It's not really important. We can close that up real easily, but it's not very important right now because the fish are going to be relatively small. You've seen me fiddling around with the points. You can fiddle around with the points whatever you like, just as long as it's matching the contour fairly nicely. We're going to use an alpha map, so it's probably going to produce a nice effect on the fins, but it's going to produce holes on the back and the belly of the fish if you don't do it properly. Let's see what we're going to do now. Oh yeah, we're going to go to the perspective view. Now this looks rather awful. That's because we didn't scale the x-axes of all the vertical lines. Now this you have to eyeball because you don't have any reference to how fat a fish is. Now don't make it into a fatty fish. Normally we're just gonna scale it, but with the back of the tail I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do UL and select the back part. I'm just going to go into edge mode, it's easier to see, and I'm going to go to mesh commands and set point value. Now set point value, you can actually automate the whole setting of a number of points, and what I'm going to do is the x-axis should be squeezed into 0, so I'm just going to go to X set and set an object, but the object hasn't been moved and it's at the value of 0. I'm just going to apply this, and it looks awful again. That's because all the other lines are not scaled down yet, but now it's squeezed into a 0. If you do that with scaling, you can actually make it into a negative scale and fold the surface onto itself, which is not a very good idea to do. Let's just select the other verticals, hit the scale tool. Now you can do one of two things. I think it's easiest to just switch on the X and switch off the Y and Z, and then you can just squeeze it in. See, here I go to negative, so I shouldn't do that. Just leave it at 6% or something like that. Pick up the UL again and basically switch between these two commands. Make the tail fairly flat, UL, and just grab it like that and just make it into a fish. Now a fish, I can actually tell that this is not scaled properly. A fish is not that fat, so make it fairly skinny. And as you can see, definitely in the side view, you can do whatever you want to the points as long as you switch off only select visible elements and use the UL button, use the E button for the move, use the T for the scale, and well, it's fairly easy. Next up, I'm gonna create a surface for the fins, and I'm just gonna move the top and the bottom points so that they line up with the fins, and it makes modeling the fins a lot more easier.